Hoide ὠκεανοῦ χωρὶς ἐπιτίθενται, καὶ Κρόνος ἀποτεμὼν τα αἰδοῖα τοῦ πατρός εἰστιν θάλασσαν ἀφίησεν. Εκ δε τῶν σταλαγμῶν τοῦ Ռέοντος αἵματος ἐρινύες ἐγένοντο, Ἀληκτώ Τισιφόνη Μέγαιρα. Τες τε ἀρχῆς ἐκβαλόντες, τούς τε καταταρταρωθέντας, ἀνήγαγον ἀδελφοὺς, καὶ τὴν ἀρχήν Κρόνῳ παρέδοσαν. And here we go. And, man, cannot type here. And they, without ocean, attacked. Now we have to understand, to patri, they attacked. We'll just say it here. I don't know that we need to write it, but I think it sounds a little better in English. And Kronos, and we could say this is an aorist participle. Participles are, I don't say it enough, they are verbal adjectives. So this is describing what Kronos is doing, or in this case, has done before the main verb. And Kronos, we could say, having cut off the, we'll say, private parts, the pudenda, the parts of which one should be modest or maybe shameful, I don't know. The junk of his father. Remember, we were saying how in Greek we don't get as many like possessive pronouns as we do in English. He set them forth into the sea. He discharged them. Let's say that, actually. We'll change this in a minute. Discharged them into the sea. Because we'll come back and make this a little smoother in English. Now, we could say and or now. We might just say now from the ecton stαλαγμῶν, and we get a word like stalagmite or stalactite. Now from the columns of ṟέοντος, αἵματος, of flowing blood, the Furies, we'll give them the Latin name, were born or arose, came into existence. Namely, Ἀληκτȯ Τισιφόνη Μέγαιρα. There will be probably a special video dedicated to going over the many names we've encountered here. We're going to talk about one name, I think, in a minute, but we should devote more time to the names. They're interesting. But of course, you can ask your favorite search engine or AI what is the meaning here of each name. We could say and, but we might say having. We don't need these as many connecting words in English. They, by the way, if you ever speak or learn any Thai, they use a lot of connecting words. It's very reminiscent. Almost every sentence has a connecting word, or a word connecting it with what came before. So having cast him out or thrown him out, having thrown him out of, we'll say his realm or his rule. And then two things happen here. We get this te and kai. They, ἀνήγαγον, they lead up their brothers, who were, we'll just say, thrown down into Tartarus. So they were thrown down. We have that kata, and here we have, it would be ana. It's been kind of alighted here, or changed because of the augment of the aorist. So they lead up their brothers who were thrown down into Tartarus, and they gave, I'm sorry, they led up, it's not, it is aorist. They led up their brothers who were thrown down into Tartarus, and they gave the realm, or the rule, to Kronos. So let's go back and just talk about some of this here. This is kind of an interesting, I think this can go before, this preposition can go before the word it is kind of attached to, but here it's coming after. You'll find this sometimes, sort of like in Latin, ars gratia artis. And let's see here. They attacked their father. Like I said, I think it's better to put that in. And now I would say here in Kronos, instead of having cut off, we've talked about these participles here. After he cut off the private parts of his father, he cast them into the sea, discharged them. Liddell Scott says this is used of missiles, or something, that's going to be airborne, a weapon that will be airborne. And this gets used in the New Testament as to forgive, to kind of send away, to forgive sins. I think definitely in Matthew. Because this is very strong image here. Columns of flowing blood. This as a verb, re, panta re, that's a good summary of Heraclitus's philosophy that all things change, all things are flowing. We cannot step twice into the same river. Haima, this is for blood. One thing here, I think this is worth mentioning because this happens a lot in Greek. So this diphthong here, it came into Latin sometimes as this. Can't. And during medieval times, this diphthong stopped being pronounced as such, and only this was pronounced, and consequently, it was the only thing written. So let's see here. We can do something like, so this is how we get the word like hemoglobin, when you might expect something like that. But that is the transmission that gives us words like Egypt from Aegyptos, and even equator and premium from premium. So that's the word for blood. Arise, the Furies there. And these Furies, you can look them up. They punish, they are punishers of cruel deeds. Ἀρχῆ can mean beginning. That certainly is one of the first, it's actually the second word of the Septuagint, the ἀρχῆ. It's also the second word of the Gospel of John. But it can also mean to rule, or the realm. Also gives us a word like architecture. Kronos. Let's talk about the word Kronos for just a minute, because you might have heard Kronos or Saturn, now Saturn is the Latin or the Roman equivalent, being identified or being called Father Time. And you might think, well, why is that? And the reason for that is there were, during Hellenistic times, and in other words, during Hellenistic times and with someone like Cicero writing in De Natura Deorum, they took the beginning here of Kro and said that it was really representing or connected with Kro, like that. I don't think that is true. I don't know that modern research would support that, but these are the kinds of connections that the Hellenistic philosophers found. There's another one later in De Natura Deorum linking Demeter with Gay.